Hey guys, Gemma from ASD Rocks, wanting to talk to you today about failure and what that means. You see a lot of our successes, a lot of times you don't realize that the 14 years of videos that I've put together in like a little sort of usually longer than I'd like it to be, but 5, 10, 15, 20-minute video is 4 years of teaching Bo to shave in, a 10-minute video, or 14 years of trying to teach him to ride a bike, and you see us succeed and you see all these successes, and the successes are as a result of a number of failures. You can call it what you want, trial and error. You don't have to use the term failure, but I want to give you one example of epic failures that I had with Bo. He was about 3 coming to 4, and I was so stressed out that he wasn't going to be toilet trained. I was so super stressed that, at that stage, don't forget, he was nonverbal. He had severe behavioral problems because of the frustration of the nonverbal. His meltdowns were to a point, I think a lot of people don't know this side of Bo, but he was having meltdowns to the point where he would vomit and then pass out. So the behavioral issues that we had from anxiety, from all these sorts of things. I mean, just obviously when your child is diagnosed very, very young, it has to be pretty severe to be diagnosed at that stage. And don't forget, we had him at doctors by 16 months. So I was terrified that he was never going to understand the concept of toilet training, and he was going to end up being a 14-year-old in adult nappies. And so I set up this tent, and I put this tent in the lounge room, and in the tent I put a potty, and kind of like sort of Pavlovian dogs, every time he went near the tent I gave him a cookie. And then when he went in the tent, then sort of I progressed to, he went in the tent and I gave him a cookie. And then he would go in the tent and I would pull I would get him to just sit on the potty in the tent and he could have a cookie. And then we progressed to sitting on the potty with his pants down, whether he did anything or not, and it was just slow incremental points until, he would go into the tent, he would sit there with his pants down, for as long as I could possibly get him to, and hopefully he would do something and I would give him a cookie. And the idea was that he would get the understanding that, with this slow progression, that was where he was meant to go to the toilet. Well, again, talk about epic failures. I was just sort of one day pottering around in the kitchen with him and, doing bits and pieces. And there was a cookie on the bench and I grabbed it and I went, "Oh, hey, Bo, do you want a cookie?" And I gave it to him. And he bolted to the tent and he sat down in the tent on the potty and ate the cookie, because the only thing that he got from those months of training was that that's where you're supposed to eat cookies, not anything to do with toilet training. And I actually have this picture. I remember taking this picture of Bo sitting inside the tent eating a cookie, because it didn't work. That tact didn't work. It's trial and error. Now, Bo's toilet trained, and I had to change the way that I was trying to teach him. It didn't work. That way, obviously, all I did was teach my son that you eat cookies on the toilet. Epic failure. But you don't give up. He didn't give up and we found another way. we found another way using his keys and his OCDs and things like that. And it doesn't really matter how we found it. My point is that with every child being so different, with each kid on that ASD spectrum having their own kinks, their own OCDs, their own little quirks, you need to find those quirks and use them to your advantage. So if they have an OCD, use that for language, use that for getting things to be completed that you want to be completed. So don't be, I remember this day. Don't be disheartened by the fact that you have just spent literally 6 months teaching your child to eat cookies on the toilet. You just got to get back up. We all fall down. We are all human. We all make mistakes. We all need to forgive ourselves for those mistakes. And then you brush yourself off and you get up and you find another way, because there is a human being that is depending on you. And the more you put into that human, I promise you, it will pay off. It doesn't always work the right way, and you're going to end up with kids eating cookies on toilets and think, how did I get here? But if you fall down, you step back, you go, okay, well, that didn't work. I have to come up. What changes do I have to make? What do I need to learn? What changes can I make to get this to work? Because toilet training for me was super, super important, as I think for all of you. Toilet training, especially, a lot of kids are getting diagnosed around 7, which is really amazing to me, that there is this age that these kids are getting diagnosed, which technically, is really late for early intervention. We had Beau at early intervention at 2 years, 8 months. So, when is early intervention no longer early? Who's to say? Well, apparently, actually, NDIS is to say, but let's forget about that. My point is this. You're going to try and it's not going to work. But with our kids, in other areas of our life, or when it comes to us, often there are elite athletes who, never give up, never surrender. And then there's normal human beings like us who become defeated and become emotional and, and have breakdowns because 14 years of just keeping on trying, and sometimes you're going to feel like you're just out of ideas, like you've been coming up with new ideas for 14 years, and soon it's going to be, I've been coming up with new ideas for 15, 16, 17, 18 years, and I've still got to come up with new ideas to get him to do the things that he needs to do to be an independent young man. That is my duty. That is every mother and every father's duty. Doesn't matter whether it's autism or whether it's neurotypical. Our job as parents is to raise strong, independent, considerate, fully functioning children. Some of us have it harder. And what's really important is that you look at these trial and errors and you stop and you learn and you say, it didn't work. There's an old saying, and I can't remember really the details, as in whether it was sort of Edison or who it was, but there's a famous quote where someone was inventing something, and we'll say it was the light bulb, I don't know, and they said, oh, how long did it take you to do this? And or he was trying to do it and he hadn't succeeded. He was trying to invent the light bulb. Maybe it was Arthur Tungsten, I'm not sure. But he said, oh, 99 times. I've tried this experiment 99 different ways. And they said, so you failed 99 times? And he said, no. I have found 99 ways not to make a light bulb. So I think that, it is important the way that we pursue and continue through our failures, through our trial and errors, through our falling down. It's the learning, the getting up, the adaptation. It's the adaptation. And don't forget, we're talking about two people. We're not just talking about, oh, I failed. I'm trying to get another human being who really doesn't understand not only what I'm talking about, but why. What's the point? And why does I can only imagine, why does this crazy woman want me to eat cookies in a tent on this weird seat with my pants down? Like, what must have been going through his head at the time? So I just want you to really, really take a really good look at this picture and just remember that about a year later, Beau was toilet trained, and it was because I had found, 4 or 5 ways not to toilet train him. So ASD rocks, guys. I hope you all have a great day.